Ever since the presidential election, I've been worried, scared, angry, and depressed. I'm almost running out of negative words to describe my feelings. Everywhere I look, I see nothing but cruelty and meanness from this new administration. And I started to wonder if this is still the United States of America. When they use slash and burn tactics toward federal agency, they created fear, resentment, and anxiety. I understand the need to improve government efficiency, but I cannot believe this is the right way to get there. Besides reducing payroll and employee benefits, they have yet to prove that this tactic will actually make the government more efficient. Do they even care that these agencies have been providing essential services for citizens, including consumer protection, Treasury, Department of Education, FEMA, IRS, Medicare, Medicaid, FAA, NIH, which provides scientific and medical research, and NOAA, which provides weather and climate prediction, and USAID, that provides humanitarian aid all over the world? Or do they want to destroy the safety net and tear apart the social fabric of this country and export chaos into the world? I'm a chaplain intern for the VA hospital. Every day when I go to work, I can sense the tension and anxiety among the staff who are wondering, today, is that going to be the day they're going to lose their job? I can also imagine that this deteriorating morale would negatively impact on the patient care they provide for veterans. To continue the terror tactic, they rounded up thousands of undocumented immigrants, regardless they have any criminal records or not, and send them to foreign prisons that might not have the same human rights standard to protect them. They deported student protesters. Under pressure, major social medias and news medias are giving up their check and balance responsibilities. Witnessing the attack on our First Amendment rights, I'm afraid they were fast becoming authoritarian countries just like Russia or China. This sounds like bad news all around. How do we get here? I believe that what's going on in the world is much bigger than politics. The entire model for modern life is causing us to suffer. We have worked harder than any other previous generation. We had more debt and less time. We got on the treadmill of this modern life and couldn't find a way to get off. This is collective trauma, not an individual experience. But when we are unhappy with our lives, it is too easy to blame others. Power-hungry politicians love to ride the wave of misery and fan the fire and lead the blame game. Buddhists have a concept called samsara, which represents the endless suffering we humans go through. We collectively have created these human conditions regardless of our political viewpoint because we are interconnected. We're all in it together. Greed has no political divide. When human beings are suffering, we tend to choose to fight back against the culprit for our suffering from the outside world. But we're not looking at our suffering deeply yet. Let me give you an example. Father of economics, Adam Smith, I hope some of you remember who he is, championed free market and pure competition. Built on this concept, capitalism's goal is to maximize profit and minimize cost. This is focused on the individual's freedom to pursue their self-interest. The positive contribution of capitalism is the fostering of individual creativity and innovation that help the human race thrive. As part of this creativity goals, individual business are free to move manufacturing around the globe, looking for cheaper labor in order to lower production costs and make us as much profit as possible. We, the consumers, get to enjoy cheap product imported by Walmart, TJ Maxx, Target, to name a few. But when capitalism reaches its extreme, we take over our human purpose. We have eliminated many manufacturing industry in the US. Soon, the same people who love cheap goods have lost their good-paying manufacturing jobs. At some point, many people couldn't afford to even pay for cheap goods with the salary from their low-paying jobs. Collectively, we are caught in the downward economic spiral. However, it seems that most of the rich and powerful will stay rich and powerful. The rest of us are left in the trap that we don't know how to get out. It's easy to blame our trading partners, undocumented immigrants, and the woke people who want to take care of the marginalized. The biggest problem in the world today is the separation between individuals, forgetting that we are one. According to Buddha's teaching, we're in this current predicament due to the lacking of compassion. During this troubled time, we're caught in a battle between individual needs and wants, which causes so much conflict and breakdown in our relationship. Lacking of compassion, we cannot tolerate and embrace the differences in others, whether those differences are based on politics, race, religion, or sexual orientation. When we stop having compassion, this is when bullies show up. Power-hungry politicians exploit human misery and take control of our lives. The second cause of our misery is lack of wisdom, believing that we can buy our way to happiness. Ignoring the true happiness comes from the deepest inner self. This individual and collective suffering called the first noble truth in Buddhism. This suffering is inevitable for us human beings as long as we keep clinging and grasping for our individual gains. To stop our suffering, the second noble truth is to try to understand the root cause of this suffering. The third noble truth teaches us to redefine happiness. The fourth noble truth is to avoid getting stuck in extremes. These four noble truths encourage us to face our pain. They teach us to stop running away. Only by courageously opening to the sorrow of the world as is can we find our freedom. This is the demand placed on all of us who would awaken. In order to stop suffering, we need to get beyond just saving ourselves, because Buddhism holds that all of us are interconnected. There is a chain of reaction built from the care we receive from family, friends, and our community, or simply from strangers who have us in their thoughts. When we are happy, others are happy. When we're sad, others are sad. When we're hateful, others are too. Recognizing the shared human suffering experience is crucial for cultivating compassion and empathy. By understanding the suffering of others, we can work together, eliminating it and creating a more peaceful and just world. When we are children, we urge our parents to come into our room to chase away the monsters. We counted our parents to tell us that everything will be okay if we are lucky enough to have such loving parents. As adults, where can we get such reassurance? I really realized that no one can predict the future. The best experts can only refer to history and remind us the cyclical nature of the world. Philosophers would remind us that compared to the millions of years that we human beings have been on this planet, what is happening to us now is not even a blip on the radar screen. Buddhism reminds us the impermanent nature of the universe. But in the meantime, a whole lot of bad things will happen to good people. So when we ask, are we going to be okay? No one is there to give us a firm answer. No longer children. We are the ones we are waiting for to find this answer. Instead of hoping that we'll be okay, we need to have faith in humanity's ability to make it okay for our world. I trust and believe that at the highest level of our humanity, we are good. Most of us are born good. Notice that whenever there's a natural disaster, strangers come out to help strangers. This is our innate human goodness. I have faith that most of us still have this goodness in us, even in this most troubling time. In the darkest of time, faith can be a reminder that we are not alone. Even at our lowest, we can still extend compassion to others and that we are loved. Most of us humans are not evil people. Instead of seeing others as evil, we may try to see the suffering in them. Since we're interconnected, we're not alone. There isn't a single person on this planet who isn't loved by somebody. Just think about all the nurses and doctors during the pandemic, sacrificing their own lives to care for their patients. Often they're the only ones there to accompany the dying patients till their last breath. On dark days, when you feel alone, just remember that there's someone out there who wants you to be okay and feel better. In order to make sure we're okay, we need to help the world heal the wounds and become whole again. Gandhi said, be the change you want to see in the world. Change starts from the relationship we have with ourselves and others. Anne Frank said, instead of everything, I still believe that people are really good in their hearts. To begin with, we need to come to know through our own experience that we all have the potential for limitless love, compassion, and wisdom already in our hearts. While at present, this natural peace and goodness is obscured by our negativity and delusions, we can all start small. Any small experience of peace, joy, and good-hearted qualities such as love, compassion, and kindness reveal the essence of who we are and the potential for who we can all become. In Buddhism, we call this inner potential or Buddha nature. And the good news is everyone has a budding Buddha nature. Therefore, the solution to the biggest problem we have in the world today, the lack of wisdom and compassion in the heart of living being, is simply to recognize through our own experience this universal truth of our own Buddha nature, then learn how to access and fully actualize this potential. We need to have faith in this potential. It is often in the period of great darkness in the history of humanity that our Buddha nature seems to manifest as a force of light opposed to darkness. Yesterday's protests show that. Right? This is what it is in the mind of Bodhisattva, an enlightened spiritual warrior. For example, the civil rights movement arose as a powerful and compassionate response to the inhumane segregation and repression of the rights of African Americans. During this troubled time, we need to activate the Bodhisattva in us. Sustaining this Buddha nature, we can practice moment to moment on a very small scale. Let us remind ourselves how rare and fragile our democracy really is. Democracy cannot really exist when not everyone is participating in the process. Democracy will not last when its people will not do the hard work to protect it. To make this world okay, we need to see behind the bullies. What lies beneath the hatred, ignorance, or anger is our collective suffering. It takes all of us to answer this question. Are we going to be okay? If we surrender, we'll help tyranny to grow. So the only choice is to show our Buddha nature by continuing to do our little parts to make the world a little better. I wonder often, when the main beam of a house is unstable and crooked, how can we still keep the house standing and strong? When our leaders are selling out on their morality, how can we still teach morality and integrity to our children? How can ordinary citizens still try to follow the rules? We're all suffering from moral injury when we feel betrayed. This truth is the surrendering ourselves and our children. The truth is that surrendering ourselves and our children to the corrupt world is not a choice. There is no place to go but to stay in the arena and fight. We cannot let our silence be interpreted as our assent. We cannot sit on the sideline and watch the house crumble. In the book, 20 Lessons for Fighting Tyranny, historian and Andrew Carnegie fellow Timothy Snyder suggested ways to defend democracy with individual actions. The first and the most important one is do not obey in advance. He wrote, most of the power of authoritarianism is freely given. In times like these, individuals think ahead about what a more repressive government will want and then offer themselves without being asked. A citizen who adapts in this way is teaching power what it can do, unquote. When this administration set out to destroy all the DEI work in the government, many corporations volunteered self-censorship by eliminating their own DEI policy and practice before the pressure got to them. We cannot surrender. We cannot let our fears stop us from being free people. Each of us must decide what kind of human being we want to be if we still have an ounce of goodness. We need to be true to our higher self, regardless of what happened. We must keep teaching and practicing our highest humanity because we're all in this together. And we need to have faith that more people like us are willing to do the hard work, one breath at a time. We must believe that since we're all in this together, if more of us decide to take the high road, eventually we will be able to cultivate the right kind of world we can be proud to be part of. Bank on our faith in humanity that love and compassion will prevail. We may not see the results tomorrow. We need to have faith that we are not alone. We can do our best for our parts. Every single chalice we light will eventually create a forest fire. We are doing this because we will not sell out on our integrity and highest value. I know there are people out there just like me. We can count on our collective effort to save the world. The future will be okay if we don't give up. Amen. Blessed be. It may be so. Carol.